So people are continuing to trickle in. Again, my name is Christopher Deming. The format for this is I'm going to briefly introduce the first group. By that I mean I'm going to give you just the organizational name. They'll introduce themselves. They'll give their presentation. They have a limited amount of time to persuade you that they deserve the money available through Northwood Alumni Project 100. After they're done, I'll come back, introduce the second group. They'll give their presentation and so on. After all three groups have done their presentations, we will take questions both online and here in person, keeping in mind that if you're asking questions here in person that there are mics overhead, so we should be able to hear you, but just keep in mind that sometimes the paper rustling and stuff, so if we need to ask you any additional questions, we may have to have you reiterate things. So at the end of everything, once all the questions have been answered, we'll ask all of the students in the room to leave, go around the corner, and then we will commence the live voting here. As a reminder, we have members who may not participate tonight, so it's a majority of total votes this evening that dictates the winner. Are we clear on the rules? Questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or should we just get this thing started after all this time? All right, let's get this thing started after all this time. So with that, we will shut this poll, and we will get to the presentation. And I would like to go ahead and ask the aftermarket group to come up. Please help me in welcoming the aftermarket group.
Get as close to this mic as you possibly can.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you joining online. My name is AJ Bauer. I'm the president of the Aftermarket Club.
And I'm Tanner Buckby, the vice president.
And we're here to present to you guys the future of the aftermarket.
The first thing that we like to stress is that we are a group of passionate students that have a long-time interest in modifying cars, building cars, and have an excitement about this industry. And that's what brought us to Northwood and led us to choose this program. Our goal is to share this program and this interest with those coming in and those already through the program and ensure that this major has longevity.
The problem that we're currently facing is that there's a lack of awareness for our aftermarket program. Brooke here, as you can see up on the screen, she's a current aftermarket student, and before coming to Northwood, she had no idea that there was such thing as an aftermarket degree. I myself am from Grand Rapids, only about 2 hours away, and I had absolutely no idea what we have here at Northwood. Again, similar story with our classmate Connor. He did not know that there was a difference between automotive marketing and aftermarket. They're two vastly different degrees, and obviously he is now in the aftermarket degree and enjoying it.
So aftermarket enrollment has been on decline in recent years. In 2003 and 2004, we were over 120 students. Now, that is vastly larger than our current standing today, which is slightly under 60. However, we're confident that the involvement and the passion we share, if we can get that out and voice that to the future of the aftermarket, we can bring them in and fill those positions available in the industry. Both of us just got back from the Apex SEMA shows in Las Vegas, and we actually noticed that there are far more jobs than students to fill the positions. I mean, people were handing business cards left and right needing to fill positions, and these are great paying jobs with great opportunities for these people, and unfortunately, it's just not communicated necessarily to everyone that that is an opportunity they can have here at Northwood.
So the root cause of this problem we notice is that it's quite difficult to understand the aftermarket industry. Most people, when they think of automotive, they're familiar, obviously cars, but when, given the word aftermarket, they tend to draw a blank. We are a difficult industry to understand, but that being said, there are quite a few schools that are aftermarket and automotive based, such as UTI, UNOH, and Kettering, and all these universities and programs share a similar passion, and they all have their own cars and programs to support their students' extracurricular activities and truly apply their degree outside of just the classroom.
And I think it's important to mention that schools like Oakland University, actually, that is not necessarily a technical school by any means. They have a club that actually goes out and drives and races Formula Series of car, and they do this just through a club. This is a group, and anyone can join, anyone can be a part of that. So we're really trying to bring in that thought that anyone can be a part of the aftermarket industry. We're not trying to, shy anyone away. We want this passion to be spread wide. So some of the project objectives is recruiting and raising on-campus involvement. We're using this as a supplemental tool to our learning within our program. We're using this to reach potential students through their passion or hobby, providing an opportunity for students to practice their hobby, and students can really understand how the technical and business sides mesh. That was a big reason I came to Northwood personally, is that I was a big car guy, and I didn't know where I could use that in a business sense. And finding that business setting that let me branch out and reach those goals has been incremental.
So our solution to this problem is creating a Northwood project vehicle. This is going to entice local high school students as well as high school students from across the state. We're trying to display this at national auto shows such as the Detroit Auto Show, locally the Northwood Auto Show, and then hopefully the Apex SEMA show in Las Vegas to supplement the Northwood booth. Now Northwood does attend the Apex SEMA show, but it's simply just a booth, and we feel that based on the other booths and companies that show up to this show, there needs to be some type of car to supplement that. There's a little rendering as well, just for reference.
So we do have alumni and industry support of this. We spoke to multiple people at Apex SEMA about our goals and our project, and everyone seemed thrilled to work with us in some way. A few of the companies that have shown direct support, as well as AASA, who kind of houses everyone in one, and they have an unfathomable amount of members that would be willing to provide support to us and are just excited to know that people our age are interested in the industry. That's the number one thing we saw at Apex SEMA is people coming out of college and getting into this industry is not as great as they'd like it to be. They want people, and we're here to try and help them provide that.
So Cabrini University, they were able to actually create a double-digit increase in deposits for online enrollment in the fall for their university just based on this car, as you can see here. They simply put their graphics on the side of a car and drove it around the city, and they were able to attract incredible amounts of attention just over a vehicle. Now that being said, we want to reach this project. We want to reach multiple audiences through this project. This is going to impact Northwood. It's going to create an enrollment boom. For students, it's going to be able to be a hands-on experience for both aftermarket students as well as students in other majors who want to get involved in the automotive industry. And obviously, we're going to be able to exercise our passion why we're here at Northwood. The industry is going to benefit as well. Companies that want to partner with Northwood and want to hire Northwood graduates based on the aftermarket program we have here are going to be able to donate parts and put their logos on the side of the car as sponsorships. And then obviously, most of you guys here, alumni and our donors, you guys want to see your connection with Northwood and see, Northwood and the aftermarket program prosper for years to come.
So how this is possible. Went out and we got some dedicated interest throughout people in the community. So H.H. Dow High School is interested in having the car in their auto shop program and have their students support us through the process. So we're actually going directly into a high school to gain their interest and show that just because they're in a tech program doesn't mean they can't go to a business school. Because a business school has a lot more opportunity for growth long term, other than maybe owning a shop, and not to discredit that because it's also a fantastic facet for getting into the industry. So Higher Standards has also shown interest. The aftermarket product and service donations that we have shown in previous slides is a big show of support. And our budget that we're about to show reflects retail costs, not the actual costs we intend to pay. A lot of the support kind of changes that variable and gives us more money to play with than what's there directly.
So this next video we're going to show you guys is Kerry Redman. He's a aftermarket alumni from Northwood who's going to share a little bit about his experience and how he got into the industry through Northwood.
I think a key thing to notice there is that he didn't know that that was an opportunity out there, and that's what we're trying to fill that spot of.
So just for your guys' reference, we have included a small budget. Some notable things to mention: the vehicle, we're looking to spend $4,000. This is going to be more than enough to create a running and driving car and build a good platform for us to build off of. And then as you guys can see, there's a couple other facets in there as well.
So here's a quick timeline, and not to go through this directly because I'll see it on the board, but The key date we want to focus on is October 1st of 2019. That's when we intend to have this done, and that's giving ample time. And as we mentioned previously, the budget and this both give ample time for any hiccups that could happen along the way. We both have experience doing this in our personal lives, and we know that this is something accomplishable.
Another thing to note is October 12th, that's the auto show. We want to have this done, if we win this project, to really appeal to potential students. There's 55,000 people that come out to Northwood every year for the auto show, and a number of those people are high school students, I myself included. I did that when I was a senior in high school, as well as Nate in our audience. And again, this is going to be the final vehicle, not final rendering, but actually a student in our automotive program created this via Photoshop. This is just one of the possibilities that we could have if we win this money.
Yeah, so some final thoughts are this, that, we are all passionate about this, and at the end of the day, we're trying to create something tangible that alumni for years can appreciate and grow that aftermarket major and, ensure that it has longevity. So with that, we'd like to thank you for your time and let you know that regardless of the outcome, we intend to do everything we can to make sure we build this major and build this success.
Thanks for listening, guys.
We're going to swap out a microphone just so the students have an easier time giving their presentations without having to hold a microphone in front of them, so please bear with us. In the meantime, since I have your attention, and since I can do that, Julie is being a sport here and live broadcasting this on our Facebook group, which is exclusive to Facebook Project 100 or Project 100 members. So we have a backup for the backup that we use for the backup plan. So keep in mind, for those of you here that are voting members, and for those of you at home who are also voting members, keeping in mind the scope of Northwood University Alumni Project 100 is to create and fund a project which enriches the lives of students on campus. And even if it's a small group, even if it's a large group, any aspect of campus that we can improve and embrace and enriches the campus generally. Those effects will have ripple effects throughout the campus. Are we good, Ron? Good. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got thrown. Next, we have the healthcare management students. I'd like to invite you guys to come up and help me in welcoming them.
Hello everyone, I'm Olivia Motney. I'm a senior at Northwood. I'm a healthcare management major.
I'm Jessie Hall, and I'm a junior at Northwood University, and I'm a healthcare major.
For Project 100, our goal is to promote safety, health, and wellness on campus. So our action plan is we have a 3-tactic skill. So we want to bring CERT on campus. We recently just went through our first active members with this in the past fall, and then we also want to bring first aid, CPR, and AED certifications onto campus. So we want to train and promote that as well, and then step up our health and wellness week.
To build safety and security conversations is in the strategic priority plan for the university. So recently, students who are part of the healthcare program organization, NUSHMO, joined the CERT team through the security program. So CERT is the Community Emergency Response Team. It's run through FEMA, and the security team runs it on campus. So basically they train students or employees, or the RAs have to be trained in it too, on fire suppression, reduce danger, and minimize shock. So when you join CERT, you are trained to be aware of the dangerous situations that can come about, and then to assist the responders on the action. So everyone who joins CERT will get a backpack full of the supplies in case of a dangerous situation. You also need to be first aid and CPR certified to be a CERT member. And we joined CERT as students because we wanted to help out with on-campus activities such as auto show.
And then, so you're asking yourself why we need this program specifically, because security only has 2 on-call security officers during the day, and then they also have 1 on dispatch until 9 p.m. And then once 9 p.m. hits, there's only 2 at night. So we want to make this campus as safe as possible for all the housings on campus. So with the first aid, CPR, and AED certifications, so any HOC, NAD employees or CERTs members that are coming onto campus need to be trained. So it's more convenient for the NAD employees and the HOC employees to be trained on campus with a student, a fellow student, or the faculty and staff also. It's considerable for them to be trained, so it'd be a lot more easier for them to get trained on campus rather than having to go elsewhere. So community training opportunities. Recently, the Midland Red Cross training facility was closed in 2013. So the nearest one is in Saginaw. So like I said, just the faculty and the staff and the RAs and the NADA employees and the HOC employees can all come together and be united and get that community training. And then bringing Girl Scout or Boy Scout leaders or high schoolers to become trained as well, making them aware of Northwood's campus, not only for healthcare management, but for other majors as well, and exposing potential students to our campus.
So promoting a positive population health awareness on campus is very important. So last year we brought out our first Health and Awareness Week. So we focused on mental health, self-defense, exercise, and nutrition. So what we want to do is bring out tips for like proper ways to keep yourself from getting sick during the flu season, ways to eat properly. We all know some people don't have ovens in their dorm room, so we came out with microwavable safe meals that they can do, or even just with hot water. We also want to help prove ways that, like, yeah, exams come out, you get stressed, like here's a guide to like go through your stress step by step so you're not cramming at last minute.
So last year we had our first Health and Awareness Week, and we had a series of days. You can see here in the first picture that we had like stress relief days, so students got to come in between lunch and like make their own stress balls. And then we also, this is a new thing in the second picture, we want to provide kits, so things like stress relievers, like candy to keep your sugar up, and lotions and stuff like that.
So we're going to go over like what we're planning on spending the budgets on. So for the campus-wide health and awareness fair, we do it 4 days, Monday through Thursday. So we're planning on spending about $2,200 on it. So we're planning on buying a glowworm kit that teaches the proper way of washing hands, more stress reliever kits with like making the stress balls again, adding the lotions, the candies, and then handouts that help promote health for college students, provide healthy snacks at the tables every day during the week to hand out, and then give out other handouts to help improve their health on campus.
And then our second action that we talked about, FEMA and CERT. So with this, we want to provide a campus canopy for auto show. So that will be posted, and it will be yellow and very noticeable. So if an emergency were to happen, people know where to go. And then along with that, just Cylon tables that we can rest anyone that's injured on. And then also a Lifeline AED value pack. So this is going to be around $3,425.
With CERT, we plan on having a healthcare student or someone else, through the program, train the new CERT members coming in. So we're working with Jason Miller, the head of security, to help train someone so when new people come into CERT and the RAs next year can come in and we can train them through it. We also, for the first aid CPR stuff, we're planning on spending about $4,000. So we're going to have 2 students be trainers through it. So they're going to have to go through a program so that when they have the program available, they can train the new students come in. So we're planning on buying the training packs, about 100 of them. And then we have to buy all the dolls for the training, and then the manuals, the airways. So what we're planning on doing is, since we're buying 100 packets of the training things, we're going to charge them only $5 above the Red Cross fee, because they're not going to have to pay the fee, because we are providing the first 100 people to sign up for the program. We'll pay for it. They just have to pay $5. And the normal fee for the Red Cross training program is about $30. So after the first 100, they'll have to pay the $30 and then the $5 on top of it, and then the supplies or the training course.
So in total, with all of our 3 action plans, this will come out to $9,803.45. Thank you for your consideration for Project 100.
Thank you guys for your presentation. Just a quick housekeeping note. For those of you that are watching on the Blue Jeans app at home, please be sure to submit your questions not through the chat link on that window, but through the Slido app. That's where we'll be monitoring and moderating the questions that you may have for the students. So without any further ado, because we're trying to make up some lost time, I'd like to invite the Entrepreneurship Society to come up. Please help me in welcoming them.
Hello, everybody. We just got a couple props really quickly here. Thank you guys very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Cody Grandchamp. I am the CEO of Northwood's Entrepreneurship Society. And I first want to start by talking a little bit about who we are as an organization. And I think the best way to do that is to define who an entrepreneur is as a person. An entrepreneur is a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk. And I think there's one key word that sticks out there: risk. That's what sets us apart in the business world. In all reality, there's no guarantees in the business world, because there's no guarantees in life. And an entrepreneur knows this when entering into any business venture in all reality. An entrepreneur is not someone who walks into their office every morning to carry out the daily duties assigned for the day and then never think about them ever again. An entrepreneur is a person who's built that office from the ground up, laying brick by brick onto the foundation of the dream that they have run through in their mind an infinite amount of times, and will continue to do so until their last breath. An entrepreneur entering into an entrepreneurial venture is not a decision that is taken lightly. It's held at the forefront of any entrepreneur's priorities, putting the business's success in front of all else and doing what is necessary to ensure that goal. It's an idea that takes root in the American dream. All the time, the effort, the drive, the determination are all put forth in the effort of pursuing what so many businessmen and women thrive for, a concept that has taken root in this country since the day it was founded on July 4th, 1776. And will continue to flourish into the ever-expanding dreams of people that far exceed solely our nation's physical bounds. So what do we bring to Northwood as an organization? We aim to channel the energy of Northwood's eager and young entrepreneurs by stimulating their gifted, innovative minds to create the businesses they have dreamt of for countless years. Provide detailed information about the business world around us and make it available to Northwood students, not just members alone within our organization, but any student on campus that's looking to start a business venture or has an idea to consider. For example, recently we created a pest analysis analyzing the political, economic, socio-demographic, and technological aspects within Michigan's economy particularly, where we all operate our businesses. And it was really interesting to see how every member's business found its spot within each industry and where we all found our fit in Michigan's economy. We aim to create an atmosphere that cultivates innovation, working off of each other's minds to problem solve and hold each other accountable for those goals that we have set for our businesses. We offer startup advice, starting with things as simple as a business model to identify the value proposition, the customer segmentation, the key resources, the key partners, all of that valuable information you need when starting a business. And then expanding from there and going into the marketing plan, creating financials, everything that you might have up in your head, but just need in a written format. We also offer networking opportunities, both inside and outside of Northwood. For example, we offer a segment called Most Valuable Lessons, where we bring in experienced entrepreneurs who've been working in the business world to create successful businesses. But one of the most interesting aspects about this segment is when we bring in our speakers, we don't give them any guidelines that we would like them to discuss. We leave it completely open because in all reality, the entrepreneur is the one that creates the guidelines in the workplace. They are the ones that set those lines. And in doing so, it creates endless opportunities to learn from these people who have spent these countless years creating these successful businesses. However, there's one key problem. Oh, I'm sorry. We are kind of the new kids on the block, if you will. But I see it as an advantage. I see it as an opportunity to create new things on campus that had not been offered in Northwood's campus in previous years. The Entrepreneurship Society was established previously here on Northwood's campus, and at the time it had over 100 members, and that's what we aim to get back to. It goes to the idea of two minds being better than one. If you can only imagine 100 innovative minds in the same room, there's no telling what we can create, the inconceivable creations that we can come up with as an organization and as a university as a whole. However, there's one key problem, and it's eliminating this line between learning and applying. Speaking as a senior that's quickly approaching graduation, I can honestly say that I've received an education here at Northwood that I don't think I'd find quite anywhere else, and I will apply it to every business venture I enter into in my lifetime. However, with this plentiful source of useful information, it becomes a challenge all its own to actually apply it. We are given the proper tools to combat these obstacles that every entrepreneur comes across in achieving their dream. But if we were only able to offer an environment that enriches and supports the incredible ideas that all students already possess but have simply yet to act upon, we can alter their career paths into something they may have never even thought to be a possibility, but can change their lives indefinitely. In doing so, it does not just affect the student alone. Turning ideas into businesses benefits the surrounding community in endless streams of returns. 64% of entrepreneurs believe it is their duty to provide a positive social and economic impact on society. Entrepreneurs ignite a fire within themselves to take on promoting the well-being of the community that surrounds them, not only by employing members of the community, but by cycling money back into the local economy. We aim to transform our members into the philanthropic alumni where you sit, so eventually they can sit among you and give back to the university that turned them into the successful businessmen and women they are today. So what do we aim to create? The Entrepreneurship Society wants to create an innovation center, an open environment that enriches the innovative minds of our members, an open workspace that allows the businesses of our members to thrive and flourish, with workstations to carry out their daily entrepreneurial duties, presentation displays to practice for investors and lenders, desktops with the necessary software for design, and an overall environment to accelerate innovation and business growth among our members. It's essentially the office before you even had an office. And here is a little cost structure to show where we want to put our purchases towards. There's be some standing desks for workstations, presentation display to practice pitches, a desktop with design software like Adobe Illustrator and things like that, printer, brainstorming center, just to go through with sofas and armchairs and things like that to brainstorm ideas. Entrepreneurs act as one of the world's key contributing factors in innovation. Each day, new inventions and creations are introduced into our world around us, ranging from simple day-to-day life improvements to groundbreaking medical advancements. 6% of Americans in the U.S. adult population own a business as their main job. With this, a spotlight begins to form on our innovators and creators, and a question begins to arise. With such incredible innovations among our society stemming from entrepreneurs, why aren't we more focused on improving the entrepreneurial spirit within each and every one of us? What the Entrepreneurship Society aims to accomplish reaches far outside Northwood's campus. The good that comes from a determined, high-spirited, entrepreneurial mind knows no bounds, and time will only tell what comes of our organization and the impact we imprint upon our peers. But what we do know is that entrepreneurship is a staple in the business world. We are the leaders that set the example to make it known that there are no constraints as to what we can accomplish. There is only the never-ending list of ongoing opportunities to be seized and driven to their fullest potential, pushing what we think is the limit to our abilities well beyond, and creating what can only be described as an ever-changing premonition into the looking glass of opportunities that are ripe for the taking. And with that said, I want to thank everyone very much for the opportunity to be here tonight, and thank you as well for all the other presentations too.
All right. I would like to invite one member from each of the groups to join me on stage as we tackle some of the questions. For those of you at home, yeah. For those of you that are online, be sure to submit your questions via Slido. We'll be monitoring them so that we can ask the particular groups. Will the three members join me on stage? Just so you are aware, you may have to reiterate some of the stuff from your presentations. I think some of the audio was a little bit rocky for those at home. Again, thank you for dealing with that. If you have questions about the presentation itself, feel free to ask. If you have questions of clarification or if something was unclear for you, please let me know, and we will go from there. So, first question is for the healthcare management students. How is your plan sustainable over the years? It seems like a lot of investment for materials and supplies in 1 year. Then what? How long does the money last?
Okay. So for like the CPR certifications, like we're going to plan on training people through school. So we're charging them about a $5 fee so that way we can keep gradually getting money through that. The CERT program, that doesn't cost money to join CERT. It's free. Everyone can just join it as they want. And then we do have dues, so we get some dues fees for like the wellness, but as like the things that come in where the $5 we can use for health and awareness, but as the $5 does come in per thing, we plan on like making some profit off of that so that we can continue through the years. You know, students will be providing after the first 100 their own books to go through the course, and those cost about $25 per book and then $30 for the class. So we never will technically run out of supplies because they'll have to help pay after the first 100 goes through, but we also will offer helping ways to help them pay to go through the course.
All right, we have two questions for the aftermarket group. First question is, could you just reiterate, have you had any luck with parts suppliers that may be willing to donate the items that you need? And second question is, who would maintain the ownership of the vehicle?
Speaking to this or the round? Yeah. Okay. So to initiate the first question, and that was the actual supplies and parts. So we went to the Apex SEMA show, and a few of us are actually members of the club that attended, and we had vast support for the vehicle there, especially because this is going to be a piece that is represented Northwood as a whole. You know, we're not just representing the Aftermarket Club, this is representing Northwood. This is representing the students at Northwood, the passion they have, the interest we share, and everyone seemed to be very interested in this. And one thing I'll mention is, from doing this myself, it's not really that difficult to attain sponsorship for project vehicles. I've done it on my own cars. You know, it's something that can be done very easily, and it saves a lot of money in the long term. So that's where we're going to be getting parts from for the majority. And we've had, from the AASA and members of that, we've had heavy interest in supplying these parts. And the following question was the actual title of vehicle and who would retain ownership.
Yep, and actually we've had a few more questions kind of related to that, so let me just say, who would maintain ownership of the vehicle? How would the program be sustained into the future? And then where will the vehicle be stored?
Right, absolutely. So for storage, and I'll address that first, we had a few different options. Obviously, H.H. Dow High School has opened up their ability and interest to us, as well as we have on-campus locations that we could theoretically store it at, pending the interest of the school in maintaining the vehicle here. Long-term, whether they wanted to place it in Sloan for the auto show or other places along those lines as a kind of a piece and a memento will be an option. And for longevity of the program and club, as with anything, you know, building a house, building a car, you know, people want to keep changing what they have. So every individual club and every year of the club can kind of put their own stamp on the vehicle, and it's never done truly. Project cars are something that can be maintained forever, and we actually set apart a large portion of our budget to maintain the vehicle and ensure that it's not a burden on Northwood. So if that goes to storage, if that goes to maintenance, if that goes to the future generations having money to work with, that's something that they can be involved in. And as we build social media presence and as we build a presence for the vehicle, more sponsors will show interest and possibly provide parts to brand on the vehicle, and students can install those in next generations to come. Okay, thank you.
We have a hot topic on the questions, and it's for the Entrepreneurship Society. Where will this awesome office be located on campus? Do you have a space in mind? Have you already approached the university and identified that space with them?
Yes. So yes, the space would be the Northwood Venture Hatchery. That's located in Du Bois Hall, right at the end there. And we already have attained the room. We have full access to it moving forward throughout the years here at Northwood. So it will permanently remain as the Entrepreneurship Society's office, open to all members of our organization.
Will there be limitations enforced for the space? Will there only be certain things that the space can be used for, or will it be kind of open space for anyone to use?
A workspace to carry out the entrepreneurial duties that every one of our members incurs. Also, for schoolwork and things like that, to carry out if you're a part of our organization, it's part of your workload to take care of. But mainly pertaining to the entrepreneurial duties that you have pertaining to your business or your idea that you want to start up.
Okay. We have another question for the aftermarket people, kind of related to the ones that we talked about before. But one of the questions is, do you expect to need any specific Northwood institutional support in the future after this first funding round, or will it be pretty much self-funding from here on out?
So I appreciate that being brought up because this is something that can be taken in so many different ways, and different initiations, different groups of us and members through the future may have different interpretations of what that means. But ideally, we will be able to be sufficient through this first iteration of it, and what we do with the vehicle down the road through social media and branding and getting support from the industry is the real goal. Our goal is to teach students to engage in the industry and build their own personal brand by marketing and meeting with people to help build this vehicle. And in doing that, they might find careers, they might find jobs and success through that, but also they'll be getting items to sustain the vehicle and maintain the vehicle throughout time. And what happens to the vehicle a few years down the road, it will be up to the group of that period, but our belief is that it's something that can be maintained easily and throughout that period by accessing the industry we have. It's a big industry and they have a lot of interest in what we're doing, and I think this is another way of really maintaining that on campus and giving us something enjoyable and to bring in and bring support for those of us who are students here now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. There seem to be quite a few questions on here that are kind of questions that you've already answered. I'm just going to leave it open for maybe just a couple more minutes for any additional questions that may come in online. But people in the room, you are also able to ask questions. If people in the room also have questions, ask of any of the students here.
It might be important to note that all of these projects have been reviewed by Northwood leadership
Yeah.
and are supported.
Yeah.
We make sure of that before we push them forward.
Yeah, for those of you who may not have heard Julie either in the room or in the live broadcast, all of these projects have been pre-approved before this voting period, meaning they have the support of the campus, they have the support of the administration, we have the space, it's feasible, and the costs are within the scope of this funding raise. Healthcare question, will this program pay for HOC and hotel employees trainings?
Currently, I know that the students who are through the NDA and the HOC do not pay. They go through security right now, so we're kind of going to work with security and kind of, instead of security training them, we're going to train them, and they don't really have to pay to go through the program because they're Northwood employees.
Anybody in the room? You don't have to submit your questions on Slido, you can just say them. Unless you want to go by anonymous. Sorry, I should have elaborated that when you answer the question. I have to still bring up that's okay. Yeah, so for those of you who may not have heard, they have other people who are willing to support the software that was coming in for Adobe Illustrator. All right, I think we've crossed off all of the questions, so If we didn't, please feel free to reach out to us again on here. I think at this point we are going to ask the students to leave the room. If you would, just go ahead and exit out the back and then go around the corner to the left over by the restrooms, and we will confer upon ourselves. All right. Yeah, if there's any other questions for us as a group or for those people who are voting, if you have questions about anything else that are not questions for the students, please feel free to submit those as well. The poll has not opened yet, so if you're looking for it, it's not there yet. We just want to give it a couple of minutes for any last-minute questions to come in. We have a question: how many students belong to the aftermarket major versus how many people are in the Entrepreneurship Society? Do we have any round figures on there? I think they said there was about 60 aftermarket students. Okay, so about 60 aftermarket students, and then Entrepreneurship Society, they said they wanted to be at 100, but no idea. We have a general question for Northwood. Is Northwood moving towards providing individual spaces for all different curriculums? I think the answer is generally no. I think this is different because the hatchery in specific that the Entrepreneurship Society is thinking of using is a space that already exists but isn't outfitted for the things that they need or the things that they'd like in order to be successful. I think that's the difference. So we've had individual spaces not specifically for curriculum but for entrepreneurship, creativity, and different things throughout the years, but I don't think that's a general move that we're planning on making. I'm getting a shaking head from Patty Tim, so I'm going to say that's correct. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the polls. You have three options. They are all listed as you can see here. Keep in mind that the vote total may not necessarily reflect the total number of members. We have quite a few watching online. We have quite a few here in person. So you have the opportunity to vote. Live votes come in. Students are cheating by looking around the corner. So we'll keep the voting open for a few more minutes. We had another question come in, which I feel kind of comfortable answering because I don't want to speak on their behalf, but the question is the goal of the truck to grow the number of students enrolling in the aftermarket program? It was hard to hear during that presentation, and I did hear that the aftermarket presentation audio was not fantastic. So we do have Donna Wagner in here, who is the chair of the aftermarket program. So I'll let you answer that if you feel comfortable, or I can speak to it. Yeah, just another touch point for Northwood's name to get out to everywhere. Absolutely. Yep. That's very similar to something I was going to say. We're still going to continue to wait. Polls are still open. For those of you deliberating at home. For those of you trying to stuff the ballot boxes. Few more. There's a few more coming in. ticking up. People are thinking about it, deliberating. I haven't cast my vote yet, so I could still be persuaded. Who wants a swing vote? Yeah. I didn't even see that one. I'm gonna unbutton my jacket too. You know, it's one thing I come here and I give my blood, sweat, and tears and I get harassed in the questions on the app. I'm so glad you guys are good sports. All right, I think it's safe to say we've had the same number of votes for a couple minutes now, so I think we're safe to bring the students in. What do you think, Julie? I think we're safe. All right. We are going to go ahead and I'm going to mute the projector so we can have the big unveil. Pardon me? So what the students missed in their absence, even though some of you were trying to look around the corner, the most popular question in all of Slido for this entire presentation was, would I loosen my tie? So this is why we can't have nice things. All right. So with that, can I get a drum roll, please? Winner of the Fall 2018 Future of the Aftermarket. Guys, if you would, go ahead. If you have your entire group here, feel free to bring them up on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please help me in thanking the Aftermarket group. Lydia, do you want to present the...
Yes, I'll give you a big check.
All right, wow.
On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. All right. Cool.
Let me get some. All right, ready?
All right. Again, thank you guys so much for participating with us this evening. I so apologize for all the technical problems that we had. We are definitely a work in progress when it comes to technology, so we're definitely going to try to improve this for the future. Thank you to all of the groups that presented here tonight. I want to reiterate the fact that if you present tonight and you did not win, that does not mean you're not eligible in the future. Keep in mind that some presenters don't win every year, but we're always in search of proposals. So feel free to take that proposal, tweak it, improve it, do what you think you can do in order to get more people on board for your proposals, and we'll be doing this again in the spring. Without further ado, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you the next time around. All right, thank you.